Welcome to the channel where I make your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side. So once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insight. Now today's video, we are going to talk about a recent case that we have successfully reverted the decision of refusal on a student visa back to a student grant. Now it's a very tough job, and also there has been a lot of consideration and cooperation between us and also the client themselves, because they need to have that willingness to actually go for a trial again. So why are we talking about this? Because you may recall in early November there has been a lot of templated decisions on refusing student visas, especially for those who actually decide to study certificates and the diploma courses, so-called VET courses. Now we are going to go through the actual refusal letter, and also at the second half of this video we're going to obviously talk about how we managed to actually get this student visa granted. All right, so let's go there and have a look. Well, you may be familiar with this type of documentations if you have been experienced the lodging of visa. So obviously this is official document of notification on refusal on student visa, but obviously I have managed to remove all the IDs of the clients just for privacy concern. And now you may notice also the date here is 2nd of November 2022, just about a month ago. So what happened there, as you can see, the data application was back in August 2022. So that was really before the Job and Skills Summit, and also obviously before the budget was announced back on the 25th of October. So what had happened, obviously, once this student visa was lodged, Australia has held up a meeting in Canberra and announced the Job Skills Summit. Everybody was excited because the quota has been increased from 160,000 up to 190,000 and plus. Now, and then on the 25th of October, further budget has been thrown into Department of Immigration, so more resources have been received. So everybody was so excited and looking forward for visa grant, obviously, and the fast track of all the visa application. However, on the first week of November, major stuff has struck. I don't know how these result and decision was made from the senior authority within the Department of Home Affairs, but in the first week of November, there are a lot of people who have chose to study VET courses, that including all the diploma and the certificate courses, receive refusals, and they basically look the same, because we have looked through numbers of them and they are exactly the same. So the content here is basically go through a decision records, and obviously every application will have probably different date and application file number, but the content is exactly the same. The first thing is how the immigration officer did was they will tell you this is a ministerial direction number 69. That's generally talking about the general temporary entrance. So if you're not familiar with general temporary entrance, you may want to give a little search on the YouTube or within our channel. We do have some detailed explanation how that would go. So this is basically all the policy and law that never changed. So the decision on the assessment here from the immigration officer was basically they look into the confirmation of enrollment. So there were a couple of enrollments. They were studies of English, going to certificate 3 of nursery operation and diploma horticulture, and then they will talk about on the date of how the application was received, and they said they assessed the background. Well, whether or not they had actually did assess the background, I doubt it, because all of this is basically copy. It's a templated decision record which has been told not just by me but many of the other migration agents you may have noticed. So it talked about assessing your background, family, countries, your incentive to depart, whatever it is, and they never basically change any words up here. They only insert for different applicant, different international student with different COE, and obviously different lodgement date. And then they will result it with very short. Personally, I don't think the officer actually assessed this application at all, because if you have done a detailed assessment, you wouldn't just write, you know, two paragraphs, and these two paragraphs were actually copy and paste. We can actually tell by that, because we're not just seeing one, we see multiple, and all of these are exactly the same. Obviously, then copy and paste, and then obviously the name of the student will be different, and they end up with a refusal. Have you been familiar with that one? Obviously, if you yourself or your friend had actually experienced that, there is a second chance. So what have we done after we got the refusal? And we have, on the same day, we actually seen all the other numbers of the others, and we also contact with the industry buddies and now friends of mine, and noticing that these refusals is going across the board, and they mainly focus on vet courses student applications, and the decision record is exactly the same as what we just saw. And the only thing differences is the name, and also the courses is different, or the institution is different, but the decision record assessment is exactly the same. So we very quickly, we have noticed this, and also the industry body has lobbied the issue to the Home Affairs departments. Obviously, this is not fair. It's not just, you know, you need to take time to assess the stuff. You cannot just say, and especially when the nation of Australia is talking about there's a skill shortage, we need more people to come, and you suddenly cancel and rejecting a lot of these applications. That just doesn't make any sense. So what we have to do is, obviously, we need to communicate with the client and get the client to actually agree to actually relodge the student visa application. Plus, there will be an additional submission. Generally, this will be a legal submission where I myself, I will put into the law and how the previous application hasn't really been done correctly, and we seek a reassessment of this application once again. Obviously, we don't just submit the same stuff, right? We'll put the cover letter with the submission, but we also adding more stuff in our GTE, the genuine temporary entrant criteria. So what have we added? Obviously, I can't show you the GTE of that this student, because there will be a lot of private stuff. So obviously, we're adding more photographs of how the student had experienced in past life. For example, in this example here, that the student is looking to study nursery and horticulture. So we show them the passion of the student has been working holiday, not in Australia but in New Zealand just before pandemic, and obviously there has been numbers of photos going to rural area, agricultural areas, how they have loved farming and things like that. It's not just a hobby, they want to develop this into some sort of profession as well. So obviously we add those elements in, and we also add additional family concern, because you see this templated refusal decision, they talk about family ties and stuff. So we add photos of the family back home, you know, with parents, pets, and the incentive that they will return. Obviously, this is just adding more value towards the GT rather than just wording. Sometimes a picture and photo paints 1,000 words. Have you heard that phrases there? So what we have done, we lodged the application again. I think it was back about just late November and about December. So here we go. This is the grant letter. You see the big grant there, and it's on the 15th of December, which is yesterday. The client was extremely happy because we did tell them there was still risk to get refused again, and how we should actually tackle and face the situation if a refusal occurred again. But with all this advice had been accepted, the student actually accepted to relodge the student application, including an extra cover letter or legal submission plus the change and additional information in the GTE statement. So you may notice when you lodge a student visa, the column for you to write GTE is actually very tiny. So instead of having that column written, we actually have actual statement done in Word file, obviously printed into PDF, signed by the client, and attach the visa application all together. And that resulted with yesterday a student visa grant, and very, very happy client there. Anyways, if you have more question and query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.